Everybody, it's Tom Foster here at Foster Web Marketing, and it's 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, June 19th. This is our Tuesday, June 19th, 2012 webinar. We have them every month, as you guys know that have been on them. Those that are new to the webinar, welcome. I have my webinar partner that always is with me on these is Mindy Weinstein, here to deliver some very timely information about Google Plus and Google Plus Local. So Mindy, welcome, and thank you so much for putting this webinar together.
Well, thanks. I'm excited about the topic today. It's a good one.
And just so everybody knows, Mindy just transferred her family through the desert from Phoenix, Arizona to Orange County. So she is amidst tons of boxes and toys and fast food, probably putting on this webinar for us. We appreciate it, Mindy.
Thank you.
I know you were trying to laugh. I was trying to make you laugh on that one, but it didn't work.
I was trying to hold it in because you described my house to a T.
We usually get to see Mindy on video, but we haven't been able to see her since she's moved into a new place, right? Maybe we'll get that hooked up soon. Anyway, we're happy that you made it safe and sound. And just so everybody knows, this is the third time that, well, I've been involved in giving this particular presentation. The first time was to some of Ben Glass's people, and then to some of Rem Jackson's podiatrists, and it was all very well received. So this is a great topical topic. Anyway, so we're going to get started, but really, oh, and real quick, just some housekeeping notes. If you have a question, we're going to pick up all those questions at the end of the webinar, probably about 1:45. We'll start answering these questions. If you can ask them in your little chat box to the right where you can ask questions, I will get them and I can answer them as best I can. And before Mindy gets started, I'm going to just explain real quick why you need to know this stuff, because it really comes down to how many hours do you have in the day, and really do I need to pay attention to this next thing that Tom and everybody is talking about. And the fact is that simply, if it was just another social media thing, or if it was just another Pinterest or whatever fad thing that's out there, I might not be so pushy on you guys getting involved in this. But because it is Google, and Google has 80–90% of the market share for search, and they're spending tons of money to capture the local market, which was previously owned by Yellow Pages and newspaper and local magazines, and all those industries are having a difficult time, as everybody knows, and Google wants that business very badly. So real quick, I'll just explain it, and then Mindy's going to get into the details. So if you have a Google account, and everyone really does, whether you know it or not, because you need it for Gmail and to see your calendar and to share documents and YouTube and everything else. If you don't have a Google account, then you're living on the moon, or you didn't know that there was an internet. But either way, you should get one if you have either of those conditions. And when you get one, you'll see that when you are logged in, as I am, it knows who you are, and it breaks up all your little applications. And you might have noticed this here, and this has to do with your Google Plus. And Google Plus, as Mindy will get into it, is Google's focus on social media. Now, what does this mean? Now, when I go in to do a search in Google, and I'll just do it, this search because it's really cool. This is for Tanglewood podiatrist. I got to spell. Now, this is the search results of Tanglewood podiatrist. Now, Google knows that I'm logged in. Now, why did I put Tanglewood podiatrist? Because it's kind of obscure, but it's not really when it's 647,000 results. And of course, our good client Andrew, Andrew Snyder owns page 1 for it. But how does he own page 1 for it? Notice how he's got, this is his Google Local Plus profile right here, and it's very well connected. It's all connected now that they've combined this Google Plus and his organic listing into one. So Google knows that Andrew Snyder's website has lots of great content, so it's given them this extra benefit. And you only get this stuff, by the way, guys, by having really good indexed content. Now, notice what else he's got here. He's got a zillion videos right on page 1. Oh my gosh, what kind of SEO work has Andrew Snyder done to own page 1? Well, really, the only thing that Andrew Snyder has done is added content. Notice how I've got personal results showing. This is something that Google just slipped in a few months ago, showing personal results. This means that while I'm logged in, it's going to show my personal results, or in other words, other people that are in my world. You see this little icon here? This shows personal results. Andrew's in my world, so it's going to show up under my search, and it will show up in other people's search that are in my world. If I hide it, now it's more traditional search, where everything else is coming up. So you see, by default, Google Plus is going to be showing people that are in your world, that are in your results, or showing people that are in other people's results. So it's a huge advantage to new websites or websites that are, new, websites that are struggling with dominating SEO websites for maybe places that have been there a lot longer, to take advantage of this guerrilla grassroots type of marketing effort, which is really Google+. So with that said, Mindy, I'm going to ask you to get started and show that we're going to go ahead and switch it to Mindy's screen. Now, I can do this. Watch me. I can do it all by myself, Mindy. I don't need Connie to do it. Look, now it's waiting on you. So you just take the screen, Mindy, and then you can start on the presentation there. Look, good job.
Sounds good.
It wasn't that hard.
No, it was. It would have been hard if I did it. I would have messed it up, but smooth transition there.
All right, so take it away, Mindy. Let's go over that again, but I just wanted people to see just the quick impact of what it does.
I think it's a lot more powerful to be able to see why you need Google Plus by looking at the search results. I mean, let's face it, Google's the biggest player out there. They're the ones that we have to make happy, and they're also the ones that we want to make sure we're playing by their rules. And they're pushing us to Google Plus, so we need to pay attention. So today's topic, of course, is about Google Plus Local, which we're going to get into. But even before that, we need to talk a little bit about Google Plus, just in general. And Tom kicked it off great in showing why it's so important in search results. So just in case you are not familiar with Google Plus, let's go over some of the basics. So this may be a review for some of you. For others who aren't on Google Plus, this might be a whole new world of information. But the first thing to understand is that if you are going to have a YouTube or Gmail account, which a lot of you might have already, you also have to have a Google Plus profile. Google's making you do that. So again, we have to play by their rules. Now with Google Plus, which we're going to talk about in the next slide, there is something known as circles. So you can add your friends, you can follow businesses, you can use hashtags, which is very similar to Twitter, to keep tabs on conversations, trending topics, just different things that people are talking about online and in your social networks. And with Google Plus, you also can post links to your website, videos, pictures, all of that to your profile. So it's very similar to Facebook. You know, it incorporates a lot with Facebook and Twitter together is what Google Plus does. And one of the things that I hear quite often about Google Plus is, you know, there's not a lot of people on there yet. Why do I really need to spend my time on Google Plus when all of my friends, all of my family, all of my coworkers, clients seem to be on Facebook and Twitter? Well, what Tom just showed you is one reason alone, and that's a huge reason. Google searches are incorporating your social network within Google Plus. You can't ignore it. You know, it's making your search results when you use Google not just link-based. So that's, I mean, let that sink in for a second, because we always tell you it's important. You need to get quality links pointing to your site. That is important, but now that we have social search, it's not just link-based anymore. You're also going to see social postings. You're going to see what people in your circles are talking about and what they've written on that topic. So
hey,
what
Mindy,
does
let's pause right there for a minute,
yeah?
because you're right. That needs to sink in. So as we've been talking about for years and years, the foundation of SEO, search engine optimization, to get your websites on page 1 for any particular search term has been based on 2 primary things. One is content, without the content, you don't even exist there. You have to have content that matches a search request. But Google has a lot of content out there on various websites that could match that search result. And so how does it know which one is better than the other one? And it has relied historically on link authority, or the authority of the links, the value of the links coming from other websites. We all know that. I know I'm saying everything to you guys that you know. The point is that that game is changing, and that game has been changing with the updates that Google has put into place, because Google knows, and it's known for some time, about the gaming that's been going on in terms of linking. Lots of SEO companies and SEO consultants that you get emails from constantly talk to you about how to get you on page 1 for these specific keywords. And really that's what it's been about, and Google knows that. And as we know, with the Panda and Penguin update, they've been enforcing their rule, their martial law, on websites and on webmasters and web providers, and on, to behave correctly and stop getting crappy links that are irrelevant. So for our clients that never participated in any crappy link building or got involved in bad link networks and bought link, junky links and whatnot, those clients are taken off because of these latest updates. I'm getting a little bit off track, but the point is that content and link building was the measurement that Google used. But now, and I'm not saying that those links are not important, but now they even define them even closer on what is a good link and what is a bad link. So they've just gotten better at identifying that. The third thing that Mindy is bringing to your attention now, in what I showed to you a little while ago, is the social piece. There's no better endorsement to a web page, your web pages, and you have thousands of them, most of you, than a direct endorsement from someone else. So you should look at the Google Plus like a direct endorsement or referral or recommendation from an individual, because it's not based on a website. It's not based on link building. It's based on real individuals. And there's no way to game it at this point. I'm sure people will come up with it, but you have to have a username. You have to be out there practicing on Google in some respect. And the more that you're out there, the more that you're doing, the more authority will be derived from that particular like on a particular page. And I hope that cleared up some of the questions that we got real quick. We got one from Jeffrey Melvin about how does it know. Maybe that's you, Nancy, that's asking the question, but how does it know who's in your network? And Google knows, because we're all connected, and you log in, and that's what we're going to get to in a little bit when Mindy talks about your Google circles. So we're going to get into all that stuff. And Steve Richardson, thanks for your comment about the podiatrist. I understand that a podiatrist is not a lawyer, and yes, they're apples to oranges, but that's important. Lawyers, it's just a lot harder. Podiatrists, it's easier for some. But lawyers, it's a lot harder. But anyway, this is a grassroots style of marketing that, if you embrace it, can really help you. All right. So anyway, now I just wanted to throw that in. Mindy, please continue, and I apologize for the interruption.
No, that's good, and that's really important. So I'm glad you spent some time talking about that. And that does lead into Google Circles, Google Plus Circles. Now, for those of you that haven't used Google Plus a whole lot yet and you're still using Facebook, one of the big frustrations with Facebook, and I know I have the same frustration, is it's not that easy to separate all your friends, your family, and your coworkers and your clients. So if you post something, everyone sees it. Now, I know Facebook has played around with different features to allow you to segregate those groups, but it's not as simple as the Google Circles. So with the Google Plus Circles, you can create a circle that's work. You can create one that's family. You can create one that's friends. And so when you post something, you can specify which circle you want that to go into. So that's based off the concept that people don't interact with everyone they know in the same manner. I'm just being kind of a little bit off topic, but I'm thinking about over the weekend, any of you who are connected to me on Facebook may have seen this, but my 6-year-old loves to use my iPad. Somehow he went to Facebook and put that I liked some WWE wrestler. So if you saw that, that wasn't me. That was my 6-year-old. So what happens is that goes out to everybody. And so Google Plus Circles allows you to control some of that. So that's a side note. I had to throw that out there just in case you did see that. I'm not the one who likes Sin Cara, the WWE wrestler. So anyway, going back to this, again, you can control what people see. You can group people
And that's
together.
one of the biggest concerns that I've heard over the years from attorneys in general and doctors about who sees their information, and they don't want their clients and patients seeing, you know, what their kids are posting, like what you just said, Mindy. And, you know, Google has an advantage because it's been watching and learning and has made failed attempts, really, for buying all these companies, but has been watching Facebook and Twitter. And, you know, to Facebook's credit, they've had to do a lot of reverse, you know, it really was, as everyone knows the story, just designed to be like a college Facebook, and then it's turned into a business use, and they've adapted to that. But Google's going into it really from that approach. And so they have the opportunity to learn from the mistakes of, not necessarily the mistakes, but from where Facebook has been weak. And that's one of the biggest things, is like how to categorize your friends and colleagues and peers and coworkers.
Exactly, and then it answers even the question, what do I post? I don't want to post something too personal. Do I post something that's business-like, you know, and that Google Plus Circles answers that for you. And just going off of what you just said, too, Tom, I actually have that in my last point, is that you can even have a circle for clients that you want to market to. So they could be prospects. They're not clients yet, or maybe they are clients. You want to reconnect with them. I mean, you can segregate your circles that way, too. So there's just a lot more potential. So the point of this...
You can categorize your circles for your practice areas, because if you've got somebody that's been interested in bankruptcy, or that's how you know them by, then that's how you should speak. You know, that's the information they're interested in. You know, estate planning, whatever different areas. I mean, most lawyers do several different practices, and you can fine tune it that way as well. And then, of course, be able to market your other services, your other practice areas to other. So let's say somebody came in for a bankruptcy, Steve, and then they need traffic help. There's no reason why you can't market your traffic business to your bankruptcy guys, and vice versa. Anyway, go ahead, Mindy.
Exactly. I mean, so the takeaway before we even get into the local aspect of Google+, takeaway is that you need to be on Google+. You need to position yourself now as an industry expert. Don't wait. I mean, you got to start doing it now. Spend 15 to 30 minutes a day. I mean, 30 minutes might be a little much, but spend 15 minutes on Google+. You know, most people have smartphones. You can do it from your iPhone. You can do it from your Droid, your iPad. Just spend a little bit of time on there. Follow people in your industry. Start connecting with clients. Start posting and commenting. And then you can even look up your keywords and see what other people are writing. So you really do need to get involved. That's incredibly important. And that leads into Google Plus Local, which what the main topic of today is. So what Google has done now is they've combined their two big priorities, which is social and local, together. And the product is Google Plus Local. So let's just take a look at what one of these pages looks like before I even get into what Google Plus Local is all about. And I pulled up Ben Glass's site. So this is what, if you go to Google Plus Local, this is the page you'll see. So we will get into this more in the slides ahead. I just wanted you to get a feel for what it looks like. So here's what you need to know about Google Plus Local. Basically what it is, if you don't know already, Google Places turned into Google Plus Local. So if you had a Google Places listing, it was transferred over to Google Plus Local. You didn't really have a say in the matter. Google just did it for you. So Google Places is going on the wayside. It's disappearing, and now it's all about Google Plus Local. So some of the things, the main things that you need to know that are a little bit different from before. With Google Places, there was a 5-star rating. So if clients left you a review, they could leave you up to 5 stars. Now that's been replaced with a new scoring system, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes. And the Google Plus Local, what's also great about it, these pages are integrated into search. They're integrated into maps. They're also on Google Plus and on mobile searches. So you don't have to just be in Google Plus to see local listings. That's really important to understand, too, because I think there was a little confusion when this was first launched, but Google Plus Local is all over the place. So now if clients give you a review of your firm, their circles will be able to see it in Google Plus. And then the last big highlight before we move on is your clients will be able to get involved on your Google Plus local page. Now, keep in mind that this is brand new, so it was just rolled out. Google is adding features. I mean, as we speak, they're adding features to Google Plus Local. So what we talk about today, there's even going to be more things that you can do next week, the week after that, and who knows what all Google will add to it. But there's going to be a lot of features, and this last point about clients being able to get involved, we'll talk about that, but that feature is also going to be expanded in the weeks to come. So here is what Google Plus really did, Google Plus Local. It strengthened Google's grasp on the social and local markets. Google's a business. We can never forget, Google is a business. They're about making money. I think we're all here. We're all about making money. Nothing wrong with that. You have to pay the bills. It's nice to be able to go on vacations. Google is out for their bottom line. They want to make money. Google Plus Local is taking them to a different level as far as the competitors. In one swoop, I should say, Google Plus Local raised the competition for Facebook, for Twitter, for Yelp, and City Search, among the others, but these are some of the big ones. So it's raised the bar in the competition. And again, like I mentioned previously, it's combined their two priorities, social and local. And at the very end, I'm going to talk about Bing, which is a side note, but they did incorporate a major change recently too with Yelp, which we'll get to that. But again, Google, they're a business. They want to make money. I mean, even Google Plus Local is going to help them, of course, with their ad revenue. So that's just something to keep in mind. But we're at the mercy of Google, and we need to make sure, again, that we are doing what Google wants us to do, because we want the phone to ring and we want to get contacts through our website.
And let's just talk about that for a minute, because, I mean, Minnie, that you point that out. I mean, it's true. Google is a business, and nothing Google does is for free. I mean, it has that perception, but it's all designed to get you to drink the Kool-Aid and never leave. And they've done a really good job with that. But remember, they want your business. You are small businesses, and small business in this country make up the volume of business. And Google wants to sell you AdWords. That's what it is trying to do. And so it is always trying to make the experience better and better. It knows that there's a huge local market. That is why it made a failed attempt to buy Yelp and Groupon, and it's going to build its own thing. It's bought a bunch of other competing companies to go after that. What did it? Are you going to go over that? What it tried to do? What it did this year alone? I mean, they spent a boatload of money, didn't they? Like on buying up companies to build this.
Yeah, they bought out a lot of companies. Yeah, I didn't have necessarily wasn't going to cover all that today, but that's the gist of it. I mean, they've been buying companies, and they have had a lot of failed attempts at purchasing companies, and so they're putting everything together themselves.
Yeah, and I think that don't look at Google Plus by itself, like Google Plus against Facebook. And we get that pushback from people too about, like, well, is Google Plus really going to be able to dominate Facebook? I don't really know if you should look at it in that way. Of course, Google Buzz, which was its first effort, and it didn't go over. This is much different, and it is more to do with search than it has to do with social. I mean, it does have to do with social, big time, but it is really about how Google controls the search landscape, and now has integrated social in the search landscape. Anyway, so and so I think I got a question before. Wow, you guys are putting a lot of great questions. There was a question of, other than personalized results, does having content plus one have organic SEO benefit? And if you saw, and this is Jason Kilka, I think that if you saw at the very beginning, you'll see that it does have SEO benefit, because people will type in a search and it's showing personalized results by default first. So that actually trumps organic results. Now, those are only going to be there if you do, content and SEO methods in the proper way. Those wouldn't even be there if you weren't doing that in the first place. So they're all combined together. And anyway, there's a lot of other questions here. We'll get to them at the end. So I just wanted to point that out, that remember that Google is trying to get your local ad business, and that's what it's after ultimately. So go ahead, Mindy.
One thing before I move on, just about the point you just said, and you've said this, but just kind of reiterating, you can't take one piece of the puzzle from web marketing and only do that. You can't just take content and only do content. You can't just take link building and only do that. You can't take social and only do that. You have to do all of them. And it just goes what you just said, but they all work together. So it's like you can't just say, you know what, I'm just going to spend my time only on this piece. It's a puzzle. You have to make all the pieces fit together just right. But, I mean, you said that. I just want to say it again because that's very, very important. All right. I want to talk about scoring and how the new scoring works with Google plus local because it's different than Google Places. Now, the biggest change that you will have noticed, so you may have already noticed, too, that your Google Places page was transferred over. You may have already been looking at your Google plus local listing, and you would have noticed that you went from having 5 stars to 3. What happened? Where did your 2 stars go? Well, it's because Google's only giving you 0 to 3. That's their new rating system. So when one of your clients goes on to Google plus local and leaves you a review, 3 is the max that they can give you. Google is then taking these ratings that you have, so if you have multiple ratings, they're going to average them and multiply by 10 and give you an overall score. And that was just what this picture right here illustrates. So you will notice that again in the Google plus local page. And I don't want to switch back to online because I won't be able to get back to my presentation. But if you notice on your Google plus local listing that you have, it's interesting that the scoring is very dominant on that page. You can't miss it. It's just in a very obvious spot, which I thought is even more obvious than before on Google Places. And I know that there had to be some logic to that. So that's just one thing. Another reason you have to make sure and get some good reviews too from your clients.
So let's switch it over to me real quick because I have Ben Glass's page up where they can see it. Yeah, I'll grab it back, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Actually, Connie was on it. All right. So can you see my screen now? You see it, Mindy?
I see your screen, yes.
All right. So real quick, guys. So this is Google Plus Local. I'm in my Google Plus, logged in, as you all are, or most of you, and it's showing my local results. I went and typed, look how they've broken it up even. I went into auto accident attorney in Fairfax, Virginia, and did that by default, and here's our friend Ben Glass, number 1. Now, there's no trick here. This is all the regular old SEO stuff that always worked, and what Mindy was saying is they integrated them together, and they moved them from Google Places or wherever they were before into this Google Plus, and they've put in this score. Now, he's got 24 reviews. They integrated all the reviews into this new system and this new scoring system. This is 27 out of 30. Now, look at this. This is automatically coming up first for me. It shows me just for you or people that are in my circles. So these are people that I have in my circles, all right, outside of just doing a search. So now the point is that here are the ratings. And if you saw my other ones, let me see if I can bring that back again. Yep. There are no ratings on these other sites. So at the very least, gang, at the very least, and you know what, we gotta, these are even some of our own clients that should know better. Going in there and updating your own, getting your reviews, those would have carried over anyway. So don't waste any more time not getting reviews. And Jonathan Cooper had a good point about be careful about ethics, the lawyers out there, and on putting what your clients say. It really should come from your client, not from you. And make sure that you follow all the testimonial laws in your world, and don't put that stuff in there that's going to get you in trouble. Google doesn't care. Remember, Google is not the bar, and it's not going to do that. It's all about reviewing you, about showing you against other searches. So they are not the bar. They are not doing that. They're not going to tell you if it's a good review or a bad review. Anyway, I just wanted to show that that's what it looks like. And then, of course, when I go here, when I go click on it, then I'm in his review page, or his old Google Places page, now Google Plus Local is what it's called. So real quick, too, and then Mindy will get going again, is remember how you had your domain, which would be like Review Ben Glass, and it would go to that Google Places. Now you want to change it to right here, because they changed that too. So pay attention to all the different. See, look, he's got recommendations. There's from Charles and Nicola. He's just from other. These are other attorneys, other people that have worked with Ben. Obviously, the best value of endorsement comes from a local person, and we've got a little surprise for everybody at the end on how to do this better, of course, thanks to Mindy, which is our Google Plus local book on how to do it. Okay, so Mindy, let's get back to you and you can continue on. I just wanted to show that. I hope that's helpful.
That's really good. It's great to be able to see it. Well, and one note, too, about getting reviews. You know, if you're all motivated after this webinar and you decide you're calling everybody, anybody and everyone you know and sending out emails, go on, give me a review. Don't have them post all the same day. Google doesn't like that. It confuses Google. That's just a side note. So, I mean, they need to look natural. So if you got very motivated and did that and they all showed up, it will confuse Google for a while. They'd be able to sort it out, but it kind of looks spammy to them at first. So that's just kind of a side note.
Okay, and Mindy, take the screen back. And then I agree with what you just said. I get this question a lot from lawyers, which is, you know, can I just have them sit in my office and write out a review or whatever? And the answer is, sure, you can have them do that, but they need to be logged into their own account. It's not going to do you any good if they're logged into your Google Plus account and they're adding reviews under your name. It is about coming from the Google Plus account. And so the whole thing is, be holistic, be real, and don't game the system. Google will catch you. Some of you have maybe already suffered from, you know, gaming the system with over-optimized pages and poor links. We've seen it. Some clients have taken a dive after Penguin. The point is that, and these are things that they've been warned about for years about not to do. So don't do these kinds of things that will take you down the hole. Be holistic and organic. Is it harder? Yes. Does it take longer? Yes. But that's the way it goes. There's no fast track to get somebody in the trial. You don't tell your clients can't pay you for a fast trial. Well, for most of you, I wouldn't think. And so why would you expect to be able to do that here, too? So you can't force a rose to bloom, and you can't make this happen any faster than it's going to happen. Unless you've done, the fastest way to make it happen is by doing the stuff that we tell you. Don't trick it. Get reviews going from clients. Be creative about sending people to your pages. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. You can send people there by doing a raffle. That's something. Please, send a note out, an email out, or in your paper newsletter to all your clients that you've ever worked with in the past, sending them to your Google Plus page, asking for a review. If you send that out to 300 people and 3 people do it, that's better off than you are right now. And so you've got to think about that. You've got to think about how to use your list and how to get reviews from your past clients you've done good work for. Okay, thanks, Mindy.
Well, let's go ahead and move into why Google Plus Local is so important. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because we pretty much touched on the next couple slides just in our conversation. We'll get to how to actually implement or how to start using Google Plus Local to get more cases, because that's really what it's all about. So we'll get there. We'll make sure we have enough time for that. But again, what you need to know about Google Plus Local, it's available across Google products. The pages are indexed by Google. That's important to know. Consumers can, again, find the pages by doing a search in Google Plus, on Maps, and right now on the Android. So there's lots of different areas in which they can access your Google Plus Local page. Now, the thing about Google Plus Local, it's more personal than Google Places was, and it's going to continue to be so. So you're going to be able to interact with people through your Google Plus Local page, just like you do right now if you have a business page, which, again, we'll get to in a moment here. But your clients will be able to see businesses that their circles have reviewed or interacted with. That right there is the reason you need to be on Google Plus in general. Your clients will soon be able to post pictures and comments on your page. So you want to encourage them to interact with you when the time comes. It's going to expand your reach. Because if they are on your page, maybe they posted a picture of being in your office, or maybe of a video testimonial they did and they put it on your Google Plus Local page, their circles are going to see that. So as these features are rolled out and it becomes more interactive, you need to make sure you're interacting just like you have been maybe with your Facebook business page. You want to do so with Google Plus Local and once those features are available. So here's what you're all here to know, is what does Google Plus Local mean to you? Because again, it's about getting business, it's about getting cases, it's about getting the better bottom line too. So if you have been updating your Google Places listing, you can still do so the same way as before. You would go into the Google Places dashboard, and if you wanted to add videos, if you wanted to add pictures, hours of operation, all that, you still do that within the Google Places dashboard. That will eventually go away, but Google has not created one for Google Plus Local yet. So everything still is through the Google Places dashboard, and any change that you make transfers over. Now, if you have never done anything with your Google Places listing, you need to do so now. So get in there, do some tweaking, add some pictures, add some videos, add any other information that's going to be helpful for your clients and your prospects. Google likes it when you add information. And again, anything you change within that Google Places dashboard, you're going to see it on your Google Plus Local page as well. It becomes a tongue twister when you say Google Plus Local and Google Places constantly. So I'm trying to keep it straight here. So here is how you can actually utilize your Google Plus Local page. Google Plus Local is going to allow you to develop followers and communicate with them. So that's important. So here comes the social aspect of it. We've talked about the search aspect, where it shows up, where people are going to find the page, how it works with social search as well. But there is going to be that social interaction. So it's very similar to Facebook and Twitter. You're going to be able to share posts, videos, and other information really easily within your Google Plus Local page. And some of the things, that were being published when this Google Plus Local change came about had to do with the fact that when Google came out with the Places, so their Places listings, they really did want to make it more interactive than it really was. Really what it turned into was more of a page just about a business. It was just a local listing, just plain and simple. And so Google wanted it to be more interactive, and that's what they were able to accomplish with the Google Plus Local page. So again, like I said in the very beginning, these features that we're talking about and being interactive and getting followers, those are coming. So it could be tomorrow, it could be later today, it could be next week. I mean, there's different features that are rolling out, and Google's made a point to say that everything's still in the works. So keep that in mind. And we'll also be updating our report that we're going to mention at the end of the webinar. So we'll have different versions as Google makes their changes with Google Plus Local. We'll be updating our report too.
And this, this is just the way it goes, gang. I mean, we don't make the rules. We're just disseminating information. And believe me, it causes chaos here in our world of web marketing as Google changes. And we accept the changes and try to disseminate the information as easily digestible to you guys. It's no different than changes in the law that happens, or changes in any business that affect the way that you deal with clients or the way that you do things. It just happens a lot quicker in this world. And that's why you can't just put this web marketing business on autopilot and expect it to work. And so we appreciate you guys tuning into these webinars and getting all our information. I know it's a lot, but there's a lot of things going on. And ultimately, if you follow most of what we're teaching you, then you will be successful. So that's why we just stay on top of this. And it's very difficult to stay on top of it and keep you updated, but I think Mindy's doing an update to the Google Places book pretty much, or Google Plus Local, pretty much weekly.
It will be updated next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that's okay. We're quite comfortable disseminating the information to you guys and keeping you on track. Anyway, go ahead, Mindy. Thanks.
Well, and the thing about it, too, is, yes, there's a lot of changes, but I have to say, I mean, the last slew of changes that Google's made, it's good news for everybody here on this call. It's bad news for people who are doing black hat, shady SEO techniques, but for everyone else who's just trying to do the right thing, just trying to get involved with their clients, their database of prospects, just trying to produce educational material, that's who's benefiting from all this. And so that's everyone on this call, and that's a good thing. And it's just making it better for everyone. It's leveling the playing field, which I see that a lot on lawyer websites. Google's leveling the playing field too, so you're not having to worry about that other law firm in your area who's out there purchasing a ton of links or doing some other shady techniques. So this is all really welcome news, good news. Yes, it changes all the time, but like Tom said, we'll keep you posted. So going back to the scoring, I just want to mention a few more things before moving on. As you saw from Ben's Google Plus local page, those scores are pretty, they're highlighted pretty well. You can see them. They're important. Again, you want to make sure your clients are leaving you feedback and comments. Better if it comes from them. You want to make it easy, so you could send a client a link to the page, just how Tom showed you that button. Send them a link to that. And then the last thing, which I know Tom already mentioned, but it's worth mentioning again, is that clients have to have Google Plus accounts to leave reviews. It'll be in their name, their profile. That's really important to understand. I know a lot of people, your clients may be, not wanting to do that because they don't have Google Plus accounts, but just keep it in mind. It's great if they do, and they need to be logged in. And it's just creating that whole social network again. So once they're logged in to their Google Plus, they're leaving your review, all their circles see it. So my next slide, what I actually did is I was trying to anticipate here a lot of questions that you guys might have, and I thought we'll address these. I know there's going to be more, and then I want to make sure we do mention the change that Bing has made too, because that's also very important. So some of the common questions that I've been hearing, do I need to create a business page on Google Plus if I don't have one yet? Now, Google Plus business pages have been around for a while, just like Facebook business pages. I think it was just like 2 months ago or 3 months ago that Mike did our Google Plus webinar, which was great, and he talked about creating a business page. Well, here's the thing. If you don't have a Google Plus business page, don't necessarily go out and create one right now unless you just want to see what social features are going to be available eventually with Google Plus Local. You're just, it's not really worth your time unless you want to play around with the features. If you do choose to sign up for a Google Plus business page right now, just so you can see what features are coming for Google Plus Local, just make sure you choose the local category when you're setting it up, because that's going to help Google merge your business page and your Google Plus Local page, which is what they're trying to do eventually. So anyway, that's just something that comes up quite a bit. The second question I've been hearing a lot is there anything I have to do to ensure my Places page, so that's the Google Places page, was migrated to Google Plus Local? You don't have to do anything. Google already did it for you. Like I mentioned before, they did it whether you liked it or not. They merged it for you. So your Google Places page turned into Google Plus Local. So another question too, what steps are needed to merge my business profile and a local page? If you have a Google Plus business page right now, and now you have this Google Plus local page, and you're thinking, why now do I have two pages? What do I do with them? Unfortunately, you can't merge them right now. It's just not possible. Google is working on that, and they are in the process. They even said if you want to be involved in one of the early upgrades so that they merge together and you want to be kind of a test for them, you can sign up. There's a form. I'm sure we can email it out to you. It's on Google's website, and it's a form you can fill out your information and request that you are one of the first businesses that has their business page and their Google Plus Local merged together. But just hang tight. It will happen. Google's just trying to roll out each feature at a time. You can only imagine what it's like over in Google land. But the last question, too, that I had here is how do I manage my Google Plus Local page? Again, I touched on that. Right now, you have to do it in your Google Places dashboard. So any changes that you want made on your Google Plus Local listing, you still have to go to that old Google Places dashboard and take care of it. Well, we will have more questions, I'm sure, but let's move on real quick. I want to mention Bing, because this was just within the last few days. Don't think for a second that Bing sat back and just let Google take over with Google Plus Local. No, they made sure and they got in the game too. They just created a partnership with Yelp, which is another local listing service, so that their local searches will feature Yelp listings. And I had a picture, a screenshot I did. Again, I used, well, what did I search? I don't remember, or car accident. That's what my search was, I guess. I don't even remember. But you can see right here, it incorporates the local searches in the midst of all the organic listings. So the thing about it is Google is the biggest player, but you can't ignore Bing either. I mean, people do search on Bing, and you will get cases from Bing. So Yelp is another one that you want to pay attention to, because now, again, local content is being pulled from there. So it's worth your time to update your Yelp listing too. You can go to Yelp.com. They make it really easy on how to update your listing. They even have different memberships you can pay for, which you don't necessarily need to do that. Just make sure you're updating your information in there. And you want to interact too. If someone leaves you a review on Yelp, maybe you could post a reply to, or send people to Yelp as well for reviews. You want to mix it up. You want reviews all over the place in the ideal world. But again, since Yelp listings are now showing up in Bing searches, you want to make sure that you aren't ignoring this side of your web marketing as well. So that's that's a lot of information we packed into in about 45 minutes, but I want to make sure we have adequate amount of time for questions. But Tom, did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we open up? I was going to say open up the phone lines. We got
a gazillion questions.
Okay.
I've never seen so many questions before on a webinar, so I'm going to try and get them. I'm going to try and get through them. But I think that, Mindy, one of the big things that we said is, and why don't you go ahead and show the next screens, because where the next screen is, go show the last screen, because no, the one with the offers. I mean the books that we have. So we've got our books that right here, the Google Plus, the rise of social and search, which is getting edits finally, and the PDF will be available, and we will send it to everybody on this call. You don't need to do anything extra. And we'll also, if you have not gotten the Secret to Content That Gets You Cases, Plain and Simple, that's written by Mindy, and it is the content writer's guide that we teach our own writers to write with. It's very well done, and I recommend it to anybody that's writing their own content or wants to understand how to write optimized content. We'll get that out to you. But let's get to some of these. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of the questions that you guys have asked will be answered in the Google Plus book that Mindy has just finished, and we're just finalizing. All right. So Steve, you asked me, or Steve Richardson asked, how do you know if someone is in your world? That's something that I said, and I just, in your world, in your personal places, in your circles. So, let's show my screen. Are we showing my screen?
Oh,
no, let's swing it over to me. I think I got rid of all the bad stuff that I had up there. Okay, here we go. So let me know when you can see my screen, Mindy.
I can, yep, I see it.
Okay. So first of all, it's just so much more pretty and elegant than what we're used to in Facebook, which is another advantage to Google. But some of you may recognize yourself. There's Mindy right here. And you can see that I've got people in circles, and then and so this is what I meant by my world. And so as you add people to your world, they impact, the people in my world impact what I choose when I do a search. So, Steve, if you had recommended a bunch of people in New Jersey for DUI or traffic or bankruptcy or whatever, and I do a search for that, then those people will show up first above anything else. And so that's one of the big benefits of being in my world. Okay, well maybe that was, anyway, I'm sure a lot of you have questions about what that means. Okay, and once again, what we're looking at is your circles, and you see that I've got them categorized in different ways. And listen, I know it's another thing to do. I look at it the same way. Oh my God, we've got to get on, Google Plus and participate in that world. And we also have to teach everyone else how to do it. So we're in the same boat, but that's the way it goes. It's no different than when you tell a client that there's a new change in the law, and now there's several more hurdles to jump through. That's the business that we're in. And anyway, so that's the way it goes for that. Let's see what we get. Okay. Is Google now forcing those with Gmail accounts already to get a Google Plus profile? Yes, you don't have a choice. It's all being merged into one. So you have a Gmail account. It's now your Google Plus profile. I'm not saying that that is not gone without problems or they don't have glitches in the system. Some of you may have glitches. We've certainly had glitches. Everybody has probably had some issue with Google Plus or Google Local or whatever. Hey, that's the world that we're in, and we just got to work them out. But that's the design, is that they're combining all of them so you have one profile. And I already answered this one for Jason about, other than personalized results, does having content plus one have organic SEO benefits? Now, I'm going to answer a bunch of questions by answering this one too, because this also will answer another question. It will, and I'm going to show you how you can encourage SEO benefits on your own website. Now, one of the things that Google did as a precursor to its Google Plus was really push, with a lot of other browsers and internet companies, author tagging, which is really just another code, like HTML5 is code that everybody agrees to use. So it's a standardization of a certain piece of code having to do with author tagging, so authors could be tagged on websites and connected to social, which is the whole point of this, which is Google+. So it's able to connect your content on your website to an individual. All right, so that's author tagging, and so I'm going to show you that. So when I type in Google author tagging, and you can do this too, you will notice that in some of the cases, there's a little picture that comes up next to it, and a lot more information. That is because this person, first of all, the website searchengineland.com is utilizing author tagging, and then secondly, this person, Barry Schwartz, has a Google Plus profile. That is how those things are connected. I think that we had some other questions come up by that. So number one, you have to have a website that has author tagging. And hey, guess what? Our version 2 websites, the ones that I've been trying to get everybody to upgrade to, have author tagging. So automatically in there. So as you add content through DSS, and so like here's, I think this is one of my sites. Yeah, this is my site. If I want to go ahead, and here's my practice area, well, maybe let me do an article. If I want to go ahead and put my name to an article, then it tags that article by name. And in DSS, most of you are very familiar with. So here's an article, and see how author of this page, none assigned. Now I can assign any one of the people that work in my company to that page, just like you guys can do in DSS. Now what will happen is, now I'm going to, all right, so let's see. I'm going to get, let me just go back. So I want to show you this without. So this is that page without author tagging. It's old school, organic. There's no author attached to it. Now when I go back in here and I say, you know what? I'm going to author tag this page. Now you can go back and do all of your old stuff. So, and it shouldn't just be you always. I'm going to go ahead and put my name on here, even though I didn't write it. You probably wrote it, Mindy, but I'll take credit. All right, and now when I refresh it, now look. Now it has got my author tagging in here. This has so much to do with how people find you, because now if people do that search, my face will come up. I'll just show you an example. FWM Google author tagging. Now who's that? Why should you add your author tag to video pages? There's Danielle, who has a Google Plus account and has added her author to this particular document. So when you click on this, you can see that Danielle's the one. This is her bio picture. The picture that you saw is her Google Plus picture. Now also you can see within DSS that you can add your social media profiles right here, your individual ones, so people can connect with you. So remember, it's not just about search. It's not about keywords. It's about social, and it's about participating in the world and in the community in which you work. All right, so that's, I hope everybody really got that. That is really huge about how this is working and why you want to really make sure that your site is author tagging and that you're able to do this and you connect all this stuff up. And you guys that are all Foster Web Marketing clients, your coach can help you set this up. Our customer service can help make sure that you're all good to go. We want to make sure that you succeed. But you have to have one of the newer sites to be able to do this, guys. All right. Let me see. We got some other good questions. If you can post directly to client circles, how much does a solo need a Business Plus page? Can they just use their individual profiles? And I think, Mindy, you already answered that, didn't you? I mean,
right now, yeah. I mean, before we were saying create a business page to interact with your clients, but because Google Plus Local is going to be merged with those business pages, I mean, just hold off. You'll be able to interact with them through your Google Plus Local page pretty soon, just like you would any other social page.
I think that we do. It was funny because I had a very similar question, Steve, when I was working with Michael Kananeman, who does all our social media. And actually, his partner in crime, Alex Mott, is here doing social media for us.
Hey, everybody.
So everybody say hi to Alex. And he's the one that's posting to our social media right now as we do this webinar. But I said that, you know, when you have a business page, and Phosphor Marketing, we have a business page, but I don't really mess with it. I only mess with my own. And that's what really Google wants you to do from an individual standpoint. So just keep beating on your own page and liking pages and whatnot. I'm going to show you something else too, real quick. If you notice on some of these newer websites that we've done, and Steve, you've got a new one, you can see that the social share is on every page. Now, if you go to different pages on my site, and those of you that have your own and know about this already, this social share is by individual page. It is not about your entire website. It's about your pages. So this is our home page, and since we added the social share, we've got 37 likes, 21 Google Plus ones, and people can do it right here, and tweets. And so these are all connected through DSS to your social media or to theirs. So for instance, if I go to Steve Richardson's site and I go like his page, it's going to show up on my Google Plus. So one of the campaigns that we'll be talking about in our book, and one of the things that you should be thinking about doing, is how do you get people to Google Plus internal pages, not just your home page. Well, one great way of doing it is by putting up testimonials and sending them that page and asking them to Google Plus it, and Facebook like it, and Twitter it, and do everything. Those are the three main bad boys that you want them to do. And so in that book that we send out, we'll be explaining how to do that. And of course, we'll be giving more tips and tricks on how to promote your pages. But that's really the easiest thing, and that's what I've been doing. You know, we'll put a testimonial up or a video testimonial about a client or whatever, and we'll send it to them. We hope that they'll like it and plus it and tweet it. Okay, I hear you, Connie. I'm working as fast as I can here. Try to get through this quick. There's a lot of information, though. All right, and I promise there's a lot of questions here, and we're going to answer all of them, and we'll get them out. All right. David Ricks, if it was automatically switched, you should have a your Google Places account should be automatically under your Google Plus account. If not, you need to reach out to Google and to help get that corrected. There's tips and tricks on how to do that. Anybody that's a client of ours that works with us on a monthly basis, we certainly will help you if you have any problems doing that. I showed you where people leave reviews, and that'll be in the book too. Let's see, I think that I got a lot of them here, man. All right, I'm going to give you a lot of these tips and tricks. How do you get people to leave reviews? And then from Jennifer, we have a picture on our Google Plus account, but it does not show up in search results, and that is because you don't have it on your offer tagging set up on your website, which I know that you're working on with us, and you will. So you will have that result soon. All right, and okay, let's see. And then Scott, I don't know about the 3 Google Plus local pages. That's something that you're going to need to resolve. It's probably one that you want to just pick your best one and then delete the other 2. And if you need us to look at it, we'd be happy to look at it to make sure that you're doing the right one. Why don't you let's set up a time to talk about that. And then from David Ricks, apps like Cooler that you can do to your Facebook to link to your YouTube account. And like I said in the beginning, I'm not a big believer in all these automated apps. I think that they do more harm than good. I think that you should be very holistic and natural when you're putting links to and from your social media. I think that's the best way to do it. Even we use Hootsuite ourselves, but we set it up naturally and organically, and there's something different going to each one. And then, Jason, I'll have to answer some of these more specific questions when we have in the email to you. And then, Don Lowry, how do you get to Google Places dashboard? Really, you're just going to go to Google. And so if you just go to Google, the way that you should do it is when you're logged in, all you should do is be able to click on Tom Plus, and that gets you into everything. Okay, and I think that's all we got for today. We have recorded this webinar. We have a ton of questions. I think I answered them too quickly as usual, but a lot of those will be answered in the Google Plus book that's coming out that we're finalizing, and anything else we will put in the email to everybody else, plus the resources. And any questions that you have of us, shoot me an email, tom@fosterwoodmarketing.com. Oh, and then last thing, a lot of the advantages you will get by upgrading your site. So, how do you do that? Where's this? Here we go. Go to fwmupgrade.com and talk to us about upgrading your site. We've got a lot of options for you to do it, to make sure that you're using the latest and greatest. This is an ever-changing world, and you need to always be upgrading your site. And we try to do it at very low cost for you guys, so you get the most advantage of what's going on. I personally have upgraded the site, I don't know, 10 times since I've been doing this. Do I like doing it? No. Although it's kind of fun in a way, like buying a car, but I don't like the new car payment either. But that's the way it goes, because I want to have the latest and greatest. And anyway, that's the way it goes. Any questions about it, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much for participating and being a partner of Fosterwood Marketing.